Hi, my name is Derek Popar. Just instructions on applying the QUIXSHOE step by step. Dress the heel to the widest and highest point of the frog at all times, keeping it level. We're going to round the horse's foot off and take all the flares off. So we've got a nice symmetry, as much as a symmetrical foot as we can according to the horse's conformation. So that's what he's busy doing right now, just rounding off that wall all the way around and shoeing around the frog. Let's round it off now. Now what we'll do is bring the foot forward and dress it from the front. We're just dressing off the hoof varnish that's there. Wherever the shoe is going to be adhered to, you want to clean any of the hoof varnish off or any of the existing material off there, so it's a nice clean surface. Don't touch it after you've rasped it now, because any oils on your hand that get onto there will affect the bonding that you've got. So try not to touch it if you can do. So dressing off everywhere where the material is going to be applied, and this also dresses off all the flares. If you've got any flares in the horse's foot, you can do it now. And if you do go down to the white line, it's not too much of a problem. Don't go beyond it. Now we're just pre-testing a mold, pre-fitting it. And the butane torch, always move it around, never hold it in one spot. I like a butane torch versus a heat gun purely because it's an isolated heat. We're not here to try and heat the foot up. I'm drying it off, drying on your surface moisture that's there, because no glues stick to moisture. So it's a dry it, wire brush it, and you can keep doing that until all the dust comes off, depending on where you are, what your application is. But this is very, very important. And then don't touch it again afterwards. It's been cleaned now. That's why you pre-fit the mold before. Molding the QUIXSHOE, very important here. Always pre-inject outside the mold. Always pre-inject outside the mold at all times. And then the sequence we just go from toe hole to heel, toe to heel until it's full. Any overflow, which we'll describe in the video, which shows it in more detail, it'll make it very, very easy for you. Here we're going for a side hole, injecting until it's full, and a toe hole. What's nice about the urethane is the liquid goes in, it'll always settle into any high spots, low spots, and it just creates the perfect surface for a horse to stand on, and that's what leads to the soundness that we've had. Right, here we are. The mold is now on the horse's foot. It's been the branches have been set equally on each side of the frog sulcus, around the heel, pre-injecting outside. I cannot stipulate this enough. Always pre-inject outside. Do you know how many times we've made mistakes of not pre-injecting, half the material coming out, and it's just an absolute mess, because you actually, to clean that foot up again afterwards, is impossible. So pre-inject it, make sure the mixture is coming through, and then we start at this toe hole, and you can see the material going into the shoe now, with this silicone mold that we're dealing with. So inject it until it gets up to just close to the heel hole, and then we'll go into the heel hole and inject until you can see it overflow at the corner of the frog there. And the minute you see that, you can stop and then inject it. I know it's a two-man job, but it doesn't take much for someone just to squeeze that trigger for you, that you dictate how it goes in. When you are injecting into each hole and you've finished injecting that hole, make sure you're squeezing the trigger as you pull it out the hole, so you've always got a little bit of excess there. Otherwise you could have a little bit of a hollow, and you don't want that to happen. Might have that in the beginning, but you'll soon get used to just squeezing as you come out. Same thing, back to the back heel hole, injecting until it overflows at the heel, and wipe away any excess material now, because before it's set, it is so easy. You can just wipe it off. The minute it's set, then you've got to cut it off, and you don't want to have to do that if you can help it. Just trying to make your life easier on yourself. And then the side wall, you can see a little bit of an air pocket there, which you'll see, we've got air's got to escape, and there it is right there. So now just give it a bit of a squeeze. If you give a bit of a squeeze right now, coming up there, and it'll just dissipate the material a little bit, so that doesn't affect it too much. Injecting the side walls, if you look around the side wall and see that it's full, you don't have to worry. If there's material coming out the side wall, it's pretty much full, so you can't go into it. cleaning up around it. Now always make sure that before you put the horse's foot down that the strap is on tight, because although it's got an initial setting which hardens it, we'll put it on the floor weight bearing for about another 2 minutes, 3 minutes, until it sets completely before removing the mold. So finger test the bottom surface. They're the most important ones right now because they're the one that's set first. So check your last hole that you injected from the bottom, make sure it's pretty firm, then you can put the foot down and the horse can stand like this very comfortably, no problem. It comes off with one hand. It really does. It's so easy because the silicone and the urethane are just total contrast to each other, so they do not stick. Troubleshooting I was talking about earlier, we've got half shoe missing, bad injection. I stopped injecting halfway through to stop it. Just put the mold back on top and off you go. And now we've got the mold removal. We're going to take this off. Boom, there it is. You know, if you've got little buttons sticking out through the injection holes, just cut them off beforehand, just so you can make your mold last a lot longer. You know, you don't want to try and pull something thick through a small hole because it'll just tear it eventually. And then cut off the injection points. Those are the injection points that we injected into the horse's foot, so you can just cut those off all the way around, and there we have it. Now we can just finish off the horse's foot by rasping it. We'll rasp the junction down. This is just for aesthetic pleasures, just to make it look better. You know, you want to try and make the shoe an extension of the horse's foot. So this is all we're doing now, taking the shoe forward and melding it. When I say melding is we're going to combine the two surfaces so you can't see it that well, not too much of a ridge between the two, and form a nice tight junction line that we can varnish to keep any moisture out. Moisture is the worst thing for any glue-on shoe. You do not want too much water in the horse's foot. And here we are removing the QUIXSHOE. We're going to cut the sidewall. Just with your snips you can just cut it and leave it away. If it's a brand new shoe, I would suggest rasping it. I mean, if it's been on for a day and the horse is lame, just rasp it off this junction point and it'll come off pretty easily. Because remember that the sole is always going to exfoliate it because it's got so much moisture in it. So it does not bond to the sole as well as it does to the hoof wall. This is the quickest QUIXSHOE I have ever done. Injected those 4 points. The inside wall didn't need much material. A little bit at the toe. You can see exactly where it's missing any materials. The inside was perfect. And let's come to the outside, inject it, and that's it. Boom. You can put the foot down. And it can be rasped into a roll toe, rocket toe, whatever you want. There's enough material there to play around with. And now removing the little nodules afterwards. And that's it. And you can see by the new generation mold, there's not too much dressing that's needed. Actually, we didn't even dress this at all. We left it just like that because it looks so much better when it's all shiny. Thank you for watching this this tape and DVD, and hope you have fun applying the new QUIXSHOE generation mold.